It's Sunday, it's 5 o'clock, which means only one thing. It's time for Top 5 at 5. Hello, welcome to another week. Thank you so much for joining me. You know what to do. If you don't have a cocktail, put it on pause. Go get your cocktail, make it, get ready, and come back and watch. I'm so excited to have you with me as always. This is our chance to chat, restore from the week, the craziness of the weekend, all of that. So today I am drinking a cocktail I made up myself. It's tequila. It is with soda water and a ton of fresh squeezed lime. So the soda water gives you some bubbles, but the lime and this tequila is really the key to this drink. It's really refreshing, perfect for summer. I've heard it said once before that tequila is the only alcohol that's an upper. That I can get around. That and other uppers. I don't know. No, I'm joking. But this is really good, refreshing. It gets us into summer. I have another great cocktail coming up within my top 5 that you'll want to stay around for. That is also super fun and super refreshing. So cheers. So here is where we are at. We are starting the new week. And of course, as we enter into July, that's where we're going next. In case you didn't know, I don't know why I just told you that, like you don't know how to read a calendar. But July is coming, and I think we're all sort of afraid of what July has in store for us. As we are seeing now that second wave of the coronavirus, it's just kind of a scary time in life. And if you watch the news, don't watch it, because it just will get you feeling totally depressed. If you're like me and the antidepressants aren't doing enough anyways, don't watch the news because it's not going to help, okay? So, that being said, we head into July. We have to have things that we can do with our mind to keep us busy and to keep us sort of distracted from the world, that craziness out there in the world. So in the beginning of the coronavirus, the quarantine, all of that, I found I couldn't focus on anything. I couldn't focus on television shows. I couldn't read a book to save my life. I couldn't read an email to save my life. It was all very difficult. It was hard to focus on anything really at that point. What I am excited about now is now that I feel like I have watched all of Netflix, all of Hulu, all of Apple Plus, all of Disney Plus, all of Amazon Prime, I feel good to know now that I can just start reading again. So I've been reading sort of ferociously because I just need something to do with my mind that keeps me distracted and allows me to escape. So earlier this week I did a live. It was one of my first tests of a live feed on Instagram. I don't know how I like it. I guess I like it, but it's different than this. I always tape this so I know that I can put it live at 5 o'clock on Instagram and Facebook. So I tried the live feed. I'll keep trying to do that. I hear that's good. It'll pop up at different times, and tune into those when you can. But I talked about this book that I read this week that was really good. It's Chelsea Handler's book. It is Life Will Be the Death of Me. And I have to say, if you haven't read her books, they're very good. They're very funny. She gets a little too political in this book. Not too much of it. There's good points to this book. I don't like anything that gets too political. Like, okay, that's just try to escape. That's why I'm trying to escape right now, especially now. All right, but that being said, she talks in this book about her brother's death. And her brother was older than her, and I won't sort of break that down or how that goes. But what she talks about is how she did not deal with death, and it got me really thinking. I'm somebody who does not deal with death at all. If somebody dies in my life, I totally forget about it. I want to ignore it. I barely want to go to the funeral or the wake. I don't remember the dates of anything. I think that we all need to, and especially right now when we're in quarantine, if you can, this is a great opportunity to sort of go back and say, okay, let me revisit those things that were terrible, those things that I have ignored, those things that I don't want to think about, because it helps us to move forward. I think it helps us in relationships, it helps us in life, it helps us in career, it helps us everywhere to be able to deal with that baggage that we haven't dealt with. She talks about that a great deal in this book. I'm used to her books being very funny, and there are funny moments in this book, but it really was like an aha moment, like, okay, we need to deal with death. And who knew Chelsea Handler would be the one who brought me that aha moment. So that being said, if you haven't read this, pick it up. It's a really great read. It's fantastic. It will help you, I think, deal with those things that you've put in the back of your mind, that really, really dark space in the back of your mind that you never go to. It will help you deal with that and help you to slowly start to open that drawer, that cabinet of those memories that we tried to ignore. Because I think if you have that blocking you, it's not good for the future. So, that preachy moment is brought to you by the number one, Chelsea Handler. This book, number one, really a good read. This week, I am actually reading Madeleine Albright's Hell and Other Destinations. I just find her fascinating, and as I started to read her book, I actually started last night at 2 in the morning because I couldn't sleep. So I'm like, this will put me to bed. No, I'm joking. It actually is a good read, and it kept me up because I kept reading and reading and reading. So that being said, so far so good. I'll let you know for sure how great it is towards the end, if it really is a good read throughout. But a great little book. This is what I'm reading this week. This is a good time to be reading books because you know what? I think we're all sick of everything that's out there, and anything that was new out there during the quarantine is now, we've seen it. We've seen it all. The Tiger King, we've all seen it twice. So we need new things to do. Reading's a great thing to do right now. Okay, so from number one, Chelsea Handler's book, we go to Friends Favorites. This week I had Friends Send In Favorites. So the next three are actually Friends Favorites, and I love this. All right, so last week I was drinking Prosecco, and I had two people, my friend Wendy and my friend Ann, say you have to have an Aperol Spritz. And it's so true. I had been introduced to Aperol Spritz a year prior by my friend Robin. She had said, okay, we've got to do this. So we always have the ingredients up north. I don't have it here today, but it's fantastic. It is Prosecco. It is Aperol, and then a little soda water and orange. And I'll have the full ingredients on my live feed on Instagram and Facebook. But this is a great, refreshing drink. It's big in Spain, big in Italy, big in Europe right now. It's truly great. If you haven't tried it, try it. It's different. I can't even describe the flavor. So Google the description of the flavor because I can't even describe it to you. It almost has a smokiness to it, which maybe that's just me, and maybe I have a dead tongue that can't taste because I've spent my life eating baked goods. No. So that being said, Aperol Spritz, that's number two. Thank you, Wendy and Ann. I really appreciate the Friends Favorites. All right, next. This one comes from Billy, and it is perfect for summer. It is Fresca. Okay, who doesn't love Fresca? When I think of Fresca, I think of my grandmother. For some reason, Fresca was always something my grandmother had at her house. I love Fresca. I tend to get it more around the holiday because for some reason that just feels like a good mix for the holiday to have at your bar. But Fresca has come out with new flavors as well. There's like a black cherry Fresca. I'm going to tell you a secret. It's really good with vodka. Go figure. Something that's good with vodka. Please, I could lick deodorant with vodka and I'd be happy. But fantastic, Billy. Thank you for sending that one along. That's number three, Fresca, one of my friend's favorites. All right, now moving on. My friend Deanna sent me Friday night, and this I think is a really great idea. Dining al fresco. All right, it is number 4 of the friends, and my third friend favorite. It is dining al fresco because right now we have this opportunity to eat outside, and it's safer, they say, to eat outside, which is probably very true because, and let's face it, we're in these restaurants and you're taking off your mask to eat. It's become sort of a very big controversy, this whole mask thing, and who's wearing one, who isn't. You should be wearing one if you go into a restaurant, but if you're sitting at a table, you can't. The nice thing about eating outside is you don't have to be as concerned. At least there's some major oxygen coming from the world. There's trees around, there's plants, there's things that are purifying our air system. And so, dining al fresco is a great tip. It's the perfect thing to do with summer. Right now it's a little warm to do it here, but at night, 7, 8 o'clock, it's kind of fabulous and refreshing. So Deanna, thank you for that tip. It really is a fantastic one. Dine al fresco. This summer, once we go up to New York, I'll be around all of my plates and things, all my table setting. I'm going to set some tables for you, give you some tips. I'm going to put that on my YouTube channel, which is something I have in progress, thanks to the Sullivans. So that is number 4, dining al fresco. So let's revisit, as we always do. First, Chelsea Handler's book. It's a great read. It will help you deal with death and the things that we don't want to think about. Surprisingly, this is a very deep and great book. It's a fun read. Check it out. Pick it up. I picked it up at Target. It's a good read. Pick it up. All right, next we went into Friends Favorites, that Aperol Spritz. It's number 2. Number 3, Fresca. It's a great mix with vodka. Gotta love it. Number 4, we have Dining Al Fresco. And finally, Sunday's Top 5 at 5, number 5. Okay, so I don't know if you're familiar with this photographer. I'm a huge fan of this photographer, Slim Aarons. He took amazing pictures of, he was allowed to get into the world of the super elite, this world that really in a way exists but doesn't exist anymore. It was during a time when being fabulous was really fabulous. The jewels, the parties, the homes in Palm Beach. He got to get inside these communities and to really document through photograph all of these moments in history, which is so amazing. So there's a documentary out right now. It is free on Prime. It is Slim Aarons, The High Life. That's what it's called on Amazon Prime. But I find his photos to be such a form of escapism. I love it. It brings you to a world that, you know, is now far gone, but still exists for that 1%. But it gives you an idea of what life was at one point. I truly love all of his pictures. I'm going to have the link up on Instagram to show you how to get to follow the Slim Aarons page. It's really fantastic. Watch the documentary if you get an opportunity. I could get lost in the world of Slim Aarons for days and days. I truly love it. And during this time when we need something to focus on that is positive, it is that form of escapism that I truly have found comforting in this time. So check that out. Slim Aarons, his photographs, documentary, his books, his feed on Instagram. He is gone now. The feed for the Slim Aarons photos on Instagram. That is really a great thing. Number 5. That's Top 5 at 5 for this Sunday. Tune in every Sunday. And remember, I will always have all the information on that live feed for 24 hours on Instagram and Facebook. Check that out. It will have all of the items from this week. Thank you to my friends who sent in 5 favorites or favorites, period. And continue to send them in. I love sharing things with people. And it's something that it introduces me to new things. It gets me to rethink the way I look at life and the way I look at things. So definitely, if you have something, send it to me. Instagram, Facebook, cell phone, text it to me. I love it. Send a picture. I love that because that's what I like to share with people afterwards. So that's Top 5 at 5 for this Sunday. We'll see you next Sunday. Can't wait for it. And next Sunday, we're in July. So that will be interesting to see what life is like in July. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Have a good day. Bye-bye.